coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yet you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething. If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. This trailer makes me want to sit on the TV and look at my couch. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Coming to a theater near you, me, is that a threat? They should have made Rachel CGI instead. Mark Brown and the 7 Discord mods. The CGI looks much better when I turn my monitor off. Disney invites you and I must politely decline. I'm rooting for the poison apple. Wise Lord Farquaad plays Snow White. This movie should come.
He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee. Hey. Every single person of, that's intelligent, hardworking, ambitious, had dreams and goals, has abandoned England in the last 200 years.
Like the street.
There's one thing you better know, and that is, I love all of y'all. Listen, can I explain something to you about being a daddy?
Don't try to frighten us with your devotion.
Daddy is the breadwinner. You dig what I'm saying? And if you don't win that bread, you just don't come around.
Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body?
I'm gonna come.
You'll finally get the attention you deserve.
Make us comply. They poison the heroes, rewrite the tales, turn legends to dust, leave us frail. But we're not done, we won't bow down. Through the wreckage, we'll take the crown. Steel hearts ignite, fire in our veins. Freedom's calling, breaking the chains. They can't erase what we already know. HyperDrive now, let's fucking go. HyperDrive down, we're burning the night, blazing through shadows, our stories ignite. Will all the fans come ride with me as we laugh at foolish hypocrisy? HyperDrive time is now or it's never, as long as they rule the fucking go forever. Forever. Oh, forever. Forever. Go forever.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It's time again. Hello everybody. Here we are again. It's another day for me anyway. For some of you, it's still the same day as it was the last time I saw you. These time zones, they can get a little bit confusing, but for me, it is at least already the 21st. The 21st of March 2025, and oh boy, it's time for the comparisons to begin. It's time for the championship contention for what is going to be the first quarter of 2025's biggest absolute woke implosion. But first, of course, ladies, if there are any here, gentlemen, and nothing in between, welcome back to another voyage of discovery, racing through the wastes of the internet to the further reaches of sanity on a never-ending quest to rid the universe of absolute bollocks. Yeah. Woo. Let's do it. But of course, before we set off, please ensure you keep your brains firmly inside the vehicle at all times. It can get a little rough out there, especially when the morons out there try to come in and wind us up in here. But we are safely within the idiot-proof shield right now, so it's not a big deal. Just keep your eyes firmly screwed to the screen at all times and let the madness wash around you as we drain it away forever. Now, who's already here? Got plenty of you. Wow, tons of you. Wow, multiple mods, several members. Gotta love to see it. Straight out of the gate. Fan-damn-tastic. So, first of all, Dividing Dragons here with happy, equal opportunity, non-denominational blessings for all. And we like that. We like a bit of that around here. Nothing wrong with that. Poopa Chalupa. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. Says hail. Hail to you too. Justin Davis, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, and good night to whoever the hell is around and wherever the heck you happen to be. And of course, Eris Rhoda says hello as well. It's that time again, apparently. The one day of the week that you can actually make HyperDrive time. Well, thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I know it's a weird time for a lot of people. We have commitments. We have all kinds of things. I mean, hell, I never ever thought I'd be the kind of guy getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning for any job voluntarily. But I like what I'm doing here, and I like that you guys support it as well. So thank you for making that worth doing. It also helps out everybody else in the house when I'm the first one to get up. So, of course, we'll proceed. Kira's here. Hello, Kira. And thank you for gifting me Yasuke Simulator yesterday. Several of you tried, actually, it seems. I ended up with 3 or 4 different people having sent me that game by the end. Kira was the first one I saw, so I accepted yours. And shout out to everybody else who gifted that game to me as well. It made me want to tear my hair out. Well, what little's left. I shaved my head. And but I will continue to play it. And we'll see how it goes, because, of course, we have the weekend. We have the goal. We've got the Yasuke Transition Fund, help to fill it up. I can get more gaming time out over the weekend, which is great because I'll be taking a day off on Tuesday. So if you want more stuff to watch, even if you can't watch it live, you want to catch up, then help me to help you. You know how it goes. And don't forget, of course, everybody, to check out all the other ways that you can be entertained. I'm trying to work out at the moment whether I should start a second channel and just upload all the gaming streams to that after they've gone live, because it might make it easier for people, but I don't know yet. Still need to do an awful lot of reconsidering of various things there. Zalosi's here. Hello, Zalosi. Haven't seen you for a while either. A few days at least. And everybody else as well. So thank you for being here, even if you're just lurking in the chat. Make sure that you do one little thing for me, of course, if you don't mind.
Like the stream.
And yes, that is pretty funny that I got so many people offering to donate Yasuke Simulator. I understand it that Hypnotic got 10. I was even like, whoa, dude, that's amazing. I don't think he even played it before. Did he even do the demo? I don't know. But there you go. Everyone has spoken, and they're very keen to see us playing these ludicrous games that are quite rightly taking the piss out of Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got plenty of news about Assassin's Creed Shadows, of course. It's only been out for a day. There's tons and tons of stuff going on with that. We're going to check out any latest developments, some silly headlines, and a few maddening reactions, frankly, because it is what it is, and people are going insane. And of course, let's not forget, it's time. It's time for the #1 contender to the crown of LOLcow of the year so far in terms of media properties, not personalities. Obviously, that's never going to be taken away from people like Alyssa Mercante, David Jaffe, and Review Tech USA, not to mention DSP, the old classic, like the Ric Flair of being a LOLcow right there. But when it comes to media properties, we have got plenty of people who are laughing their heads off at the rest of them at the moment. So we'll be getting into that as well. Absolutely. That's right. And you guys are currently weighing in as to what I should be playing over the weekend. So far, right now, at the time of saying this, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Yasuke Simulator, and Suikoden 2 have all got 29%. And 14% of you want me to go play with myself. Yeah, as if I have time for something like that. Anyway, we'll go ahead and crack on with the news, all of the updates and everything else that's going on. So first of all, and of course, I want to make sure that you guys understand to make sure that if you're liking the stream, you like the stream. Does help to pick up the other lost souls out there, people who may be looking for answers but cannot quite find them. Like the stream, send up the flares and tell them where we are over here in Castle Common Sense. And your in-flight entertainment can, of course, be found by hitting that join button and joining the Grift Force, although I think almost everybody in chat is already a member, so there's that. Helps keep the ship in the skies. And if you have any questions, comments, or you just need to pull over for a second, don't forget to tip your driver. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you all. And also, share this out, because I have been getting 50 million freaking messages from people at the moment, either through Discord DMs or Twitter DMs or whatever, X, whatever you want to call it, telling me, oh my God, I can't believe I missed the last 5 streams. I'm not getting notified. So I try to make sure that I share this out to as many people as I personally can. If you would too, would greatly appreciate it. Now, on to the actual news then. Enough griff. Let's get to some stuff that we actually are here to talk about. So first of all, I wanted to catch up with the current Steam DB numbers for Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're going to go through AC Shadows first, and then as we get towards the end, we'll, dare I say, transition to Snow White. And I don't know if anybody wants me to go see that movie. I'd rather go see someone getting their dick sandpapered off. But, well, you know, there it is. Anyway, so we have seen a little bit more of a build since, I think, where were we yesterday? Around about, it was the all-time yesterday was about this. I think it was about 35,000. We're now looking at 41,000 people are playing the game. It's now coming up to 24 hours. We're about 20 hours since the game came out. And it peaked about 8 hours ago, which is reasonable, I suppose. That's middle of the night. Right now we're in early evening American time, so it was sort of mid-afternoon time when that happened. This is not an impressive number, guys. I don't know what anyone wants to say, but when you actually compare it to some of the other games that have come out, we did this a little bit on WTF Live, but I wasn't quite sure that we really got the point home. Currently, I'm seeing that Yasuke Simulator is also trending on Steam, though it actually only has 271 all-time peak players, which of course is nothing compared to Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it is funny that many people even bothered with it. It's $5. Go get it. Support a joke. Support the meme. Support the roast of Assassin's Creed Shadows. 41,000 then. Well, the thing is that might see a few people trying to say, well, that's the chuds owned then. The game's successful. Ha 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 ha. Thing is, that really is not the case when you consider that Dragon Age Veilguard hit 90, damn near 90, in the first 2 or 3 days from our first day peak of 70,000. 70,000 is what, 40% more than we're seeing from Assassin's Creed Shadows at the moment. Now, maybe people are waiting for the weekend. I dare say they will be. And by Sunday, we'll be able to see some real numbers. But still, 89,000 all-time peak for Dragon Age Veilguard. Basically double and a bit of change what we're seeing from Assassin's Creed Shadows. If these numbers do not change, Ubisoft is going under. They need Monster Hunter Wild sort of numbers to have even a chance of survival for the rest of the year, and without being bought out or having to sell off the properties. It is hilarious. People going, haha, you guys said it wouldn't sell, but it has. There's less than 50,000 people playing it on PC. The other coping argument I've seen a fair bit of is the argument again that PC is no longer or has never been the big platform that everyone wants to play games on. But then again, this is the copiest of cope, total cope, because of course, Monster Hunter Wilds all-time peak was right after it came out. As it proceeded up, we can see from the maximum up here, you had 1,384,000 people playing it. Even right now, we are looking at 131,000 people playing it on like what must be a Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, early hours of the morning. Just mental. The beta's exploded too, yes. So there you go. I don't believe for a freaking second that anyone can realistically convince themselves that these numbers are any good. And if they do try to convince you, then they are just lying and coping and seething, and they're just going to have to deal with that. Because, I mean, numbers don't lie. And if these numbers don't change, Ubisoft is cooked. Even if we would see double this on PlayStation and double it on Xbox, assuming it's not on Game Pass. I don't know if it's on Game Pass yet. Not an Xbox guy. I don't know. Maybe someone else can confirm that for me or not. It's still pathetic. Even if it was, I mean, even if this number was 10 times what it is, and we had the same on PlayStation and Xbox, then you might be looking at the absolute bare minimum for Ubisoft to have a chance. So, no. Absolutely not. And I'd say, I mean, we even saw from the GDC documents that came out that John had access to long before the GDC. We're talking about a month ago now when I was making this show. One of the early episodes, I went through all that GDC crap. PC gaming now makes up for roughly 60% of all platforms that real gamers, I'm not talking about, people who play Candy Crush and shit like that, but real gamers who actually play games, proper games, AAA or indie, whatever, they're playing on PC. It's shifted that way. When you look at the 1.4 million people playing Monster Hunter Wilds, you got to assume that is one of the more popular games. Although, as we established yesterday, there's like a 1.5 billion PC gamers in the world. So if you're cracking 10% of that or 1% of that with your release, you are making money hand over fist. Meanwhile, if you're making less than 1% of that, you are not. So there's that. Very, very easy to work it out. This number is really bad. If it triples over the weekend, still not very good. Not very good for Ubisoft. Not for an Assassin's Creed game. It needs to be stated that you have not seen these kind of pathetically low numbers for an Assassin's Creed game. I don't even know. Maybe ever. It's really not great. Really, really not good at all. I mean, what did Valhalla do? We can look. Although I don't know if that came out day and day. No, it didn't. It came out a little later than that. It didn't come out. It came out in 2022, which is quite a lot after it came out on console, I believe. And even that, it had 15,000. So 1/3 the people playing this one that just came out day one. That's really bad. Really bad. Shout out to Sin and Sardoc for showing up. Thank you, guys. All right. So there you go. It's pathetic. And a lot of it has to do with, obviously, Gamergate. We know what we've seen. We know every controversy that this game has had going for it since May of last year, when it first trickled out onto the scene, shattered itself, keeled over and passed out, with Yasuke being announced as the main character. And it's interesting here as well, because what happens is the same thing as when I try to explain why people are pissed off about Doctor Who, when I try to explain various other times that people are pissed off, and you end up caught in the middle between the woke retards who cannot understand that we're not just pissed about skin color. And then, of course, you end up with the radical zealots who are saying, yes, it's about skin color, which is, it's like, it's not, guys. Okay, I've had to explain this so many millions of times, and I guarantee I'll probably die at 70 odd years old still saying this. Woke does not mean you are gay. Woke does not mean you are black. Woke does not mean anything like that. It means that that one of or more of these identifiers has been weaponized in order to take something away from another group. In an essence, like we've said before, it's Marxism. It's the weaponization of identity in order to take away from somebody else and shit on them that way. Madness. And yes, I have seen that the James Up, I see you in the chat, that the credit sequence for Assassin's Creed Shadows is 2 hours and 6 minutes long. It is. So I'm hoping somebody eventually does go through all that and find out the identities of the voice cast for this game, because one of the most unbelievable things I've seen playing this game has to be the voice acting. Even when we brought Osaka Chandol on to WTF Live yesterday, or this morning for some of you, and I was asking, what do you think of this voice performance? She was like, it doesn't sound Japanese. It doesn't sound like people actually speak English in Japan. It doesn't sound anything like it. Certainly not like what it would have sounded like 400, 500 years ago. No, not even close. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know why they would have a 2-hour credit sequence. I suppose it's got to include everybody who they had to scramble to try and fix this mess in the run up to its release. Somebody please find a way to go through all that and find out who the hell is credited with the voice acting on this game. Do we know? Is there a quick way? Is it on IMDb or anything like that? Because I really want to know who the hell they found to do these voices, because they are appallingly bad. But yes, once again, when we are complaining about wokeness, when we are complaining about race swaps, gender swaps, sexuality swaps, the promotion of one skin color or identity over another, that is what we're talking about. That's true racism, that's true sexism, that's true heterophobia, and that is what we're complaining about, because it's all done in order to subvert everybody wherever possible. Anybody with a bit of common sense. And, well, there you go. Now, actually, I have pulled up IMDb. I wasn't planning to have this on the show, but let's have a look anyway. Who do we have here? Okay, so there are actually some Japanese people. Never heard of any of them. Don't know if they're credited with anything in particular. Masumi is credited as Naoe's voice. What else has she done? NCIS Hawaii. Okay. Naruto Climbing Silver as Kurenai. All right. 4 credits. 4 credits. That's your. Wow. Okay. No, there's more. Jesus Christ. All right. So we're getting like unknowns to play the main characters then, basically. That explains a lot as it goes. That does explain a lot. But of course, when it comes to wokeness, nothing really has... it's been a while since anything's really shocked me. I gotta say. But you've all seen this clip already. And yes, I'm sorry, we're gonna watch it. I don't know who plays the non-binary character. I have no idea. But we're going to have a look anyway, because this has to be seen to be believed. And I've tried to display various clips. I've seen a couple of them. John supplied me with another one for WTF Live, but this is the clip that everyone's talking about, because it's completely indicative of everything I was complaining about yesterday when I was playing the game. It is unbelievable how bad the acting is in this, how bad the direction is in this. Okay. It is a Tarantino movie without any self-awareness, without tongue-in-cheek qualities. It is a Tarantino movie experience that wants you to take it ultra, ultra, ultra seriously. And in no way is that more clear than in this scene. And until right at the end, of course, where we have the most memeable face we've probably ever seen from a Ubisoft game. Here's the clip. Serious, this face is, I mean, that, to me, those eyes look feminine, but the rest of the face looks masculine. Why are their heads so close together? Is this a joke? Are you taking the piss? I mean, lingering long extreme close-ups of fake eyes.
You are more than worthy. And this moment we have shared will be my treasure.
Oh, that is cringe. That is cringe. That is cringe. That is unbelievable cringe. Unbelievable cringe. And then, of course, we move on and we've ended up with, wow. Let's get that off the screen. It all culminates in this shot right here, where Yasuke turns around and twists his face into a demonic mask of smugness, looking at the camera. What the what? I genuinely have no idea who animated this. I don't know if this was checked before it went out, because it's simultaneously cringe, it's amateuristic, the face doesn't look like that expression fits on it, so it doesn't look convincing, and then right at the end it's literally like you're turning around to the camera and you might as well just add a big black middle finger there, just going, hey gamers, fuck you, we're gonna go off and I'm gonna copulate with this non-binary 16th century Japanese gentleman. Well, that's up to you, mate. But I don't need to see it. So fuck you. And thanks very much for playing. Fucking weird, right? It is bizarre that we are looking at this the way it is. They're rubbing helmets. Yes, I know. I saw that. Oh, God. Savvy roasted them too. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So, I mean, I just can't believe that this exists the way it does. We are looking at almost the perfect storm right now of getting things dead wrong tonally. I mean, apart from all the controversy, right? Apart from Yasuke at all, who was never a samurai, and there's no evidence he was ever a samurai, and of course deleting Wikipedia, apart from stealing assets, stealing logos, stealing Sandai Kitetsu from One Piece, stealing ultimately loads and loads of things, apart from smashing up Shinto shrines and everything else that's going on, and apart from everything that you've seen, when you actually get down to playing the fucking game and you see just this cringe acting, voice acting, and direction, the soundtrack. I mean, the soundtrack alone, there was that one piece of music from the scene where your father gets murdered, and it just comes in all blang, blang, blang. It sounds like Knights of Sidonia. You don't get to be ultra serious and a Tarantino style movie at the same time, unless the people here are not fit to even be writing pulp. And then they're actually putting these scenes out, and it destroys the weight of the scene entirely, by the way. It really does, because you're supposed to go, holy shit, my father character has been executed in front of me, but you're not. You're not sitting there going, poor Naui. You're not sitting there going, bastards, I want to kill them. You're sitting there going, what the fuck is this music? It's really bonkers, frankly. And there you go. So apart from that, we've also got all the cringe in the world, and everything else that's related to this game is just making people laugh their fucking heads off. Then, of course, you've got the blowback that they actually received from the Japanese government, entirely justified, by the way. And they've apparently already rolled out a day one patch to change that, as that Park Place is reporting. Assassin's Creed Shadows rolls out day one patch that removes ability to deface Japanese religious sites after blowback from Japanese government. Yeah. Sounds about right. That sounds like what you should be doing. Assassin's Creed Shadows has finally launched, but not without one of the more last-minute change. I mean, I'm sure it's not the last one, though. I'm sure there'll be more. That speaks volumes, well, for a couple of weeks anyway, until they realize this game is never going to make them any money, and then they'll just abandon it. Like Star Wars Outlaws, like everything else. It speaks volumes about Ubisoft's troubled rollout of the game. Reports confirm that Ubisoft has quietly issued a day one Assassin's Creed Shadows patch that specifically removes the ability for players to destroy or deface major items within Japanese shrine locations. A direct response to the mounting backlash from Japanese officials and the public. I want to know how this game is doing in Japan, because I mean it's bonkers, frankly, that this was even something that you would be allowed to do. Of all of the things, of all the things you included in the game after all of the shit that had already gone wrong, they included a clip of Yasuke having the ability to go around and smash up shrines. It's frankly baffling that this was even included in the game. And again, people like to say, well, it's no different than Valhalla. You can burn down churches. It's like, yeah, but you're an invading, marauding Viking in that game. You're the enemy of Christianity, so it makes sense. And you don't even get like overt destruction or anything so disrespectful. So yeah, there's that. And ultimately, you know, you shouldn't be able to destroy other cultures' religious iconography. It's a terrible idea. A terrible idea. But that's what they did. So now we're looking at this situation where they've had to patch it out. Of course we have. Of course they have. That is, I mean, exactly. They're supposed to have cultural sensitivity consultants, and they are about as sensitive as a bull in a china shop. Quite literally. Maddening. Anyway, let's move on. The patch, which Ubisoft has chosen not to highlight in its official patch notes beyond the brief acknowledgement, alters shrine interactions so that key objects like tables, racks, and altars can no longer be destroyed. Yeah. I mean, ludonarrative dissonance or resonance being what it is, you know, you're not supposed to. Yes, you can destroy everything in some games. Yes, you can run around and have total one-to-one accuracy of the destruction of objects and things like that. And those things are great. But it's on you whether you include things that are likely to really upset people who've done nothing to deserve it. And the Japanese are really upset about this stuff. I mean, this is the same country that has been invaded by influencer trash, taking the piss out of their culture and mocking them at every turn. It's fine and totally actually understandable for them to turn around now and say, hey, get this shit out of our country. Get these people out of our country. Stop fucking around with our culture. That's fine. I understand it. It doesn't bother me at all. But regardless, if you were to have destructible items in every building, like right down to the furniture, like you could absolutely raise a building to the ground if you wanted to, then you probably shouldn't include every kind of building. People probably wouldn't even notice. And at the same time, if you're going to have certain kinds of structures like this, like for example, religious centers or hospitals or something like that, no gamer is going to complain if a few items cannot be destroyed. It's just sort of sensible. There's still a certain level of respect in art that is expected, and gaming, because of your personal involvement in the actual actions themselves, because of that, gaming and gamers need to understand that it's not the same as passively watching a character do something. You're the one doing it. And Japan is just worried that one day some other influencer is going to come along dressed as Yasuke and go fuck up a Shinto shrine or something. So there you go. They've patched that out. And I say, okay, fine. I'm not for censorship, by the way, but I'm also not for brazenly making a mockery out of your host country. You know, not really. So your mileage may vary, but that's the way I feel about it. Like, you know, you've decided to finally do a setting of Japan. You've finally decided, like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and follow through on the one thing that no one understands, why we have never done in like 20 years, coming up for 20 years, yeah, of Assassin's Creed games, and that is the Japanese setting where ninjutsu is a thing and blah blah blah. And then we're gonna just shit on it at every available opportunity. Get the architecture wrong, get the seasons wrong, get the culture and the attire wrong, and just to put, you know, the shit cherry on top of the sundae, you're going to be allowed to go and smash up their religious centers. I don't know. It's a difficult thing to articulate because on one hand, everyone should be free, you know, censorship being what it is. I don't usually side for censoring things. But then I also would argue that that's an incredibly bad taste. So there you go. That's where I land on the issue. Anyway, of course, a few people are, you know, the usual suspects are showing up because they can't understand the difference. They have no sense of subtlety, no sense of nuance or anything like that. Like, of course, Booty Adams, Moo Adams, whatever you want to call this dickhead, says, I'm not mad the destruction in Shrines got a patch. I'm frustrated that it got patched on the basis of grifters driving a narrative. Oh, no. Oh, no. Look, anyone you disagree with is a grifter, okay? Khalif. That much is clear. But how is that any different from this guy mooing and begging for review codes and pushing his crappy narrative? And to be fair, there's not really a narrative being pushed here. It's more of a response to just actual good taste. Actual good taste. Justin Davis is here for $5. Thank you, buddy. Says, woke, fake state of awareness achieved by victimhood seekers finding injustice everywhere except in their own behavior. Yeah, there's an element of complete hypocrisy to it as well. I mean, my working definition that I go with at all times is cultural Marxism, i.e. the weaponization of identity against each other to create a kind of a social hierarchy or class system based on characteristics that no one has any control over about themselves, thus creating a non-stop constant feedback loop of division and exclusion and isolation, or DEI for short, which I just put in there for a joke. But it's true. And that lines up quite well with your like practical side of it. Mine's more the theoretical side of it, and yours is like the result. And yeah, it is a state of awareness that 100 years ago used to mean, oh, I see you being oppressed too, brother. We're in this together. When actual oppression was a thing. Now that oppression doesn't exist, it's the same as the left. That meme I saw of leftists giving mouth to mouth to someone, and the thing they're giving mouth to mouth to is racism. Don't you die on me. I need you. That's it. Which means, as you can tell, the real grift is on the side of the people who are trying to kill racism by promoting it. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Any support the channel gets helps me out, helps me to help you. More gaming time. I actually don't mind running around playing this cringe-ass freaking game or any other game for you guys when you support the channel. It really, it's a nice feeling. So he says, yes, you should listen to customers with cultural sensitivities, but that's not where this story initially stemmed from, and that is disappointing. Says you. What are you talking about? Nobody went to Japan and said, hey, politicians, get pissed off about this so that we can use it as a narrative. How they skibbity, I see you in the chat. The ironic part, he says, is that fussing that came from these folks could, in the end result, not too long ago, would have been talked about in their circles as look at these SJWs crying anti-woke folks are literal social injustice warriors. This is not true, Khalif, okay? At the end of the day, the things that SJWs champion are really bad taste. Really bad for society. Actual culture cancer. Like chopping the dicks off innocent children because they put on a dress once and played at being mummy for a day. That's not something you should ever champion, okay? Mutilation of people? No. Okay? The radical indoctrination of people to think that their gender doesn't really exist. And I only use the word gender because that's the word they use. I'm aware that word's only existed since the 1960s, but there you go. It's not the same thing. Social justice does not really exist. It is a paradoxical justice that must be floated by constant support from idiots being convinced of it through extortion, effectively. That is the way it works. Whereas on the other side, we're like, you know, that's not really very cool. That's pretty bad taste. You probably shouldn't do that. You shouldn't give people the ability to go around smashing up Japanese Shinto shrines as apparently a paragon of the Japanese system of authority. A samurai is Japanese iconography. It would be like someone going around burning churches while dressed as a beefeater or something in the UK. You know, it would be like a fucking, I don't know how many star American general going around destroying churches in southern states or something like that. It's not the same as showing the alternative, which like in Valhalla's case would be effectively some insane Middle Eastern terrorists running around bombing churches. Now that I just got this stream suppressed, I'm going to have to ask once again, guys, if you're watching,
Like the stream.
like the stream, share the stream, support the stream. Thank you very much. All right. Old Man Grim responds. I like Old Man Grim. We repost each other quite a lot. Says, damn, really? The grifters pushing a narrative did that? They somehow managed to convince $1 million company to patch something out of their game? Shit, who knew they were that powerful? There's another element to it too. They never fucking listened to us. If they did, this game wouldn't exist. This game would have been changed. It'd be delayed for another 3 months while they completely removed Yasuke from it. Completely. Because, and I've said this a million times too, but it's worth repeating. If you are, how do I put it? Assassin's Creed is not your normal franchise. In a world where we will happily support franchises with anthropomorphic hedgehogs running at the speed of sound. If you go ahead and say, this franchise is set in real history with some minor fictional changes, so that we can convince you that, say, the Pope was actually a radical Templar who needed to be assassinated, for example, then you are, the onus is on you as the developer to convince us that everything outside of the core plot is actual diegetic reality, or as close as damn it. So when you have Leonardo da Vinci and people like that, and Machiavelli in your game, when you have Blackbeard and Anne Bonny and characters like that in your game, they need to look the part, they need to act the part, so that the fiction can exist within the otherwise realistic setting. You're trying to convince us that this story only deviates from real history in one secretive way that no one knows about. Ha 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 ha. And that is the suspension of disbelief. And your ability to suspend your disbelief is based entirely on that. If you then go ahead and change the paradigm, so you are effectively putting a real person that we know existed in the role of someone that they never were and never could have been, you are breaking that diegetic reality. You are breaking the ability of gamers to suspend their disbelief. And it certainly doesn't help when you put Tarantino-esque music and over-the-top close-ups and stuff in the direction, along with some of the most wooden, un-Japanese sounding voice acting I've ever heard in my entire life. But that is, you know, the tip of the iceberg compared to letting the entire franchise crumble when you reveal that you really don't give a fuck about actual history anymore, as long as you can push a fake narrative about a black samurai that has no evidence to support it, apart from one humiliated and ostracized fucking scholar that Japan absolutely despises for lying and lying and lying and lying and using the power of the modern post-grad education system in order to support a bunch of fucking lies. You are not only neglecting your responsibility to true history, you just turned around, gave it a kick in the bollocks, and left it out on the ground crying. And we can see it. There's a reason that so many people come to the same conclusion without actually communicating with each other. The great mistake that these fucking morons like Khalif Adams always land on is that they assume that we have whisper networks like they do. They assume that we are organized like they are, like we see with everyone who formed Sweet Baby Inc. coming out of Ubisoft at around the same time. Like how anyone who opposed gamers in Gamergate automatically helps anyone else who opposed gamers in Gamergate. We're not like that. I started a channel because I felt a certain way. The friends I have now and the people who watch this channel do so because they came to the same conclusions independently of me and were looking for answers, or were looking for someone who maybe is going to tell them that they're not mental for feeling the way they feel. This is why we have subscribers. This is why we have shows. This is why we get donations. This is why we make friends with each other, because we've all realized the same thing first. There is no heavy organization of it. And these people need that to be their presupposition in order for their arguments to have any ground or hold any water, which of course they don't, because they're all full of holes and suppositions as opposed to actually looking around them and taking in what is really happening. It's reality versus fiction at the end of the day. That's where we are. It's getting crazier and crazier, of course. Pirate Nation got a DM from someone here. Once again, the left outing themselves as the actual racists, the actual sexists, the actual phobic bigots, frankly. Weapons Cash sent this DM to Pirate Nation with a picture of Naoi in her underwear. Naoi says, keep talking shit about Shadow's N-word. You're an actual F-slur. We got the baddest Asian protagonist, and instead of showing this, you tell N-word Yasuke is only gay when he's not. Wonderful articulation. Beautifully, eloquently explained, you absolute moron. This is why we keep winning, by the way, because it only takes a little bit of time for someone to be outed as actually massively bigoted. And this is why they overcompensate all the time. This is why they're constantly overcompensating for it all with this grift. So there you go. Anyway, Hypnotic shared this one with a typical headline. We were looking at the reviews yesterday. And it says, you know, basically the common thread through all the reviews is this game has issues. This game has some big problems, but 10 out of 10. This game is really not very good, but 9.5 out of 10. Let's have a look at what he's got going on here.
For no reason.
Oh, yeah. This is where somebody just sort of dropped
dead. So.
And then someone else he didn't interact with at all.
Wait. What? But they didn't even... But they didn't...
Yeah.
Bro, what?
They
didn't even fight back.
I know. Just kill him. Just kill the innocent.
They didn't even fight back. There was no reaction.
That's some bad programming right there.
Fight back! Fight back!
Yeah, that's terrible. This is something like we've seen with the programming of this game around and around and around, where you kill someone right in front of some other folks and then they go, do nothing about it. They stand there and just let you kill them, even though, you know, they aren't a threat. It's absurd. They do nothing at all to defend themselves. Like, what would you do if you're walking down the street and someone just rocks up and assassinates someone right in front of you? You know, leg it. This has been something we've known about since GTA 3. People would scream and run away if you start blowing people up. But this, yeah, I just killed this guy. Oh, gonna kill you too. You're not gonna do anything about it? No.
What? But they didn't even.
Just drop dead, buddy. Just drop dead. It didn't even look at first to me like he even touched that other guy, but actually, no, he did. It's just that they didn't fight back. So there you go. Fucking embarrassing. Fucking embarrassing. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And of course, there's the other problems as well. Everything else that's going wrong with this game. People are looking at optimization issues. The Gamer has come out with this one. Assassin's Creed Shadows launches to very positive reviews on Steam, but unsurprisingly has tons of complaints about optimization. I just don't like the way it looks. It runs okay on my PC, but it doesn't look that good. Assassin's Creed Shadows has had one of the most tumultuous pre-launch cycles of any game in recent years. Tumultuous? Don't know, more like nosedive, but okay. Multiple delays, complaints about historical inaccuracies, discontent from Japanese officials all plagued the title in the lead up to yesterday's launch. Despite its pre-launch cycle, though, Shadows launch went pretty well. It released with an 81 on OpenCritic, including a 4 out of 5 from us here at The Gamer. Well, of course. And has been met equally well on Steam. At the current time of writing, the game has positive, very positive reviews on the Valve own platform, with 82% of players leaving a positive review. Yeah, 82% of 41,000 people. That's not that many. The real indictment here is the fact that no one else is actually playing the game at the moment. And unfortunately, there are apparently optimization issues as well. But first of all, before that, Justin Davis, well, hey, $20. Thank you very much.
I got this new anime plot. Basically, there's this high school girl, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious hunkers. A real setup of donkers. Packing some Doban hunkeros. Massive da hunka bankaloos. Big old Tanahangara cougars. What happens next? Transfer student shows up one day with even bigger Bankhanaga hoogs. Humongous hungalamga no logangas.
Says, thought about what you said about woke and ID politics, and the two definitely go together. It's tied to the ego too. That's why they scream and burn cars when they lose. Their egos shrink like a tranny's nuts in a cold plunge. Don't hold back, buddy. Say what you mean. Yeah, I mean, this is true. Yeah, they can't handle it. This is why you see such hypocrisy, is of course what's going on with Tesla at the moment. I mean, frankly, you have a bunch of people that not only supported electric cars for the environment, but mandated them, literally mandated them. So you had no choice in some places, but you would have to drive an electric car. And in the space of 2 years, they have spun around and started burning them and keying them and buying them to destroy them because they don't like the guy who they used to like, who turned around and just said, you know, guys, I've realized you're full of shit. You're actually no good for anybody. Your entire political structure and your actual practice is nothing but bloated, festering, corrupt scum. And I think it's time we got rid of it. Oh, no. You're actually making logical sense. You're going to win people over to the common sense side. We can't allow this. We have to burn everything. Burn it. And then, of course, at the same time, it's also just simply the fact that they've felt it. They can't accept. And this is a human nature thing, especially with ego. Yes, you've gone so far down this line of thought. You've probably gone too far now to turn around and say, oh, I just realized that actually there aren't 180 different genders, and boys can't become girls and girls can't become boys, and government corruption is a terrible thing, and for the last 10, 15, 20 years I've been voting for the wrong side, and now I've been outed as a loser and someone who's actually a political idiot, and And all the arguments and debating that I've been doing over the last few years with my friends has now only turned around to prove that I have been an idiot all this time and la 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 la. No, very rarely do you ever see someone who is willing to actually update their software to such an extent. You have people that I've seen, like Kerry Smith, for example, who shows up from time to time on various shows that I watch. And her show Deprogrammed, where she talks about how people get red pilled, how they realize that they've been lied to all this time. And then they turn around and they have to hold their hands in the air and go, you know what, guys, I've realized I've been living a lie. I've been lied to and I believed it. I thought I was on the side of justice. I thought I was on the side of equality. I thought that what I was championing was good for humanity. And in actual practice, it's all turned out to be bullshit. I can no longer stand for this. Do you know when people behave like that, we applaud, because it's humble, and humility is the human condition first and foremost. If you're okay to say, you know, guys, I was wrong about that, and that's on me, I'll try to do better, then good, great. Yeah, come around. Welcome to the table. Let's talk about it. But no, most people are not emotionally mature enough to do that. Most people will never admit when they've been wrong. That's why you have so many lol cows now. That's why you have Mercante and RTU and people like that, because they've genuinely, yeah, I know everyone's a mod now. I've been sort of letting everybody recommend it. But this is why you have these massive rage fits, because they can't accept that what they have hitched their wagon to for X amount of years has ultimately just resulted in the world and everybody in it, including children, getting worse, suffering, and even in some cases dying. So they would rather go completely nuts and burn cars down and call people Nazis and Hitler and la 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 than ever just admit they were fucking wrong. And it's not even in most cases their fault, because they were brainwashed. They were taught this from school, through university. If you even just look at the demographic differences between people who currently approve of the Trump administration versus people who don't approve of the Trump administration, it's men with degrees and women with no degrees are all in favor of Trump versus women with degrees are all against him vehemently and getting more and more against him. It's pathetic. Male feminists are even worse. So thank you, Justin. Appreciate you for that, man. And that is a significant kick up in the kick in the balls to get that bar filled. I like that. Smegheads Ziff, Australian 5, says they were just honoring famous Japanese martial artist Bruce Lee with his signature move, Touch of Death. Ubisoft is very respectful. Jesus Christ. So I mean, I don't even know how to receive that. I need to see it in context. But oh man, they get everything wrong. The other argument here is that whenever these people try to actually honor or revere somebody, it's in the most superficial of ways possible, by having these campy parades and things like that, inconveniencing people and paying lip service at best to something, and very often in the most offensive way possible when you actually think about it with any level of nuance. Because that's not really the right way to do any honor. But well, there you go. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, and you're right there, Juneman. People destroying private property, public property, anything like that should all see the inside of a prison cell for however long it takes for them to, dare I say, repent. All right, so anyway, there's optimization issues as well. Assassin's Creed Shadows launches with very positive reviews on Steam, but does have issues. Launching to very positive reviews on Steam is no easy task. Yeah, but then again, the indictment here is not that there is a significant portion of people who are disliking or negatively reviewing the game. It's the fact that no one's playing it. The people who are upvoting it are playing it, and that is a tiny percentage of the potential people who might have played it, who instead are not watching it. Even just look at the Twitch stats. 2 days ago, there was an all-time peak of people watching Assassin's Creed Shadows, 317,000. Now there's 138,000, and of them, less than 1/3 of them have actually bought the game and are playing it themselves. So that is a significant drop off. 1/3 of 1/3 of the people who were interested in this have actually converted. Not good. Not a good sign. So yeah, the reviews may be uniformly positive, near enough, but the indictment is that there aren't that many reviews because there aren't that many sales. So there you go. Assassin's Creed Shadows deserves to be commended for it. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. It's failed to resonate. It's not hit those numbers yet. And again, even if this number were to triple in the next 48 to 72 hours, that's still not a good number. It's still 1/10 of the number that we'd be looking at from Monster Hunter Wilds. Nothing. Not many games manage this feat straight off the bat, and it often takes a few patches before the reviews start to reach the 80% mark. It's not, yeah, exactly. This is not a bold statement of quality. This is a bold statement of apathy. However, for some players, their experience seems to be far from positive. A quick look at the game's reviews on Steam shows that more than a handful of players are having issues with the PC performance. I mean, I'm going to probably review it too. And when I do, it'll have nothing to do with performance. It'll have everything to do with the writing, the direction, the dialogue, the soundtrack, the overall tone being complete gash. Mechanically, the game plays fine. But if you want to play a Ubisoft collectathon and, you know, have an assassination feel to it, then go play Black Flag. Go play Unity. Go play Origins or Odyssey. Maybe not even Odyssey, but certainly Origins is good. Don't bother with this. What's the point? There is no point, especially when most of the Assassin's Creed games just got off a sale where they had up to 80% off. Maddening. Anyway, continuing on them, after 1.9 hours of play, one player wrote, the optimization of this game is atrocious. It can't even maintain 30 frames per second. Depends what you're running it on, I guess. I'm running a modest PC, Ryzen 7, 16 gigs of RAM, 3070 card. That's what I'm running at the moment. And there you go. There it is. Going to wait a few days for hopefully a performance patch, and if not, I'm refunding. All right, so you've literally stopped at 1.9. AMD rigs beware, would steer clear for now. However, they did note that messing with the ray tracing and weirdly turning off HDR gave me a massive performance boost. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Another player complained about very weak performance for the relatively old-fashioned graphics level. What's actually worse, Shadows or Failhard? I'm not sure. You would have to ask Hypnotic. I never actually played Veilguard. I guess the fact that Veilguard is a major departure from Dragon Age's normal gameplay style and is trying just to be a basic stripped-down version of God of War is not a good look. I'm thinking probably people will ultimately say that Veilguard is the worst game, but Veilguard is a more niche audience. Assassin's Creed is normie fuel. You know, there's never been a Dragon Age Hollywood movie. So, you know what I'm saying? It's apples and oranges to an extent anyway. But the best person to ask would be Hypno, who has played both. Yeah. While the actual optimization was the main bone of contention, other players were unhappy with the fact the game's cutscenes were locked to 30 FPS. Were they? Trying to think now. Maybe. Can't really picture it. They felt like they were running pretty well. The cutscenes, they seem pre-rendered though. They don't look like they're actually part of the in-game engine. Like the chatting scenes, yeah, sure, they're running in the actual engine. But the cutscenes, like where Naoi gets her face bricked in by that bat, that was so totally obviously pre-rendered. 1 second, guys, need some water. Much better. Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with Juneman that this is worse because it's more mainstream. Yeah. The potential player base and the potential people who are interested in Assassin's Creed as a franchise is way, 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 way bigger than Dragon Age. In much the same way that, say, a Marvel movie is more likely to do big numbers than, you know, a fantasy movie about some second-tier fantasy universe. when I say second tier, by the way, I mean, you know, obviously not Tolkien. But there you go. So people are complaining also about just the basic mechanical shit. Gotta say, it hasn't bothered me. I haven't had a single issue with frame rate, not for a second. Running it at high settings, I think, not maximum. I guess I could try it at maximum, see how that runs. I have yet to have an issue with any game really on this PC. I have more issues with the PC itself just running basic software, but when I'm gaming on it, I got no issue. Anyway, there we go. Speaking of gaming, help me fill up the bar, guys, if you don't mind. And I am actually planning to do a stream maybe a bit later today because it's Friday, so I don't have an evening stream, so I'll be able to do a longer stream at that kind of time. And that also gives me time to work out a way to stream without using StreamYards because I'm so fucking tired of trying to present something fun and engaging for you guys and ultimately being locked to like 25 frames a second because StreamYard can't cope with it. Smegheads is back for another Australian 5. Hello. Says, sorry, tired here and could have worded it better. The vid before of touching people and them dying, it relates to that. Oh, right. And obviously Bruce is Chinese. Yeah, I know that. That's what I was thinking, but I thought, am I misremembering that? So I didn't want to say anything. But there you go. You got me. Well done and thank you. And since it's you, where is it? Where's the clip? Here we go.
He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee. He's a smee.
Thank you. Appreciate you. And yeah, we're in the home stretch now for the bar, so thank you. Okay. Right. We've got a little bit more to look at. Not much, and we'll move on to Snow White because this is crazy. At the moment, the meta score for Assassin's Creed Shadows is still at 81. A lot of the reviews are pushing crazy fucking bullshit numbers. VG247 is literally the example that Hypno is talking about. There are problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows, but 10 out of 10. Not even 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100. Could have given it a 99. Could have given it a 96. 100. Perfect. Perfect score. The perfect video game experience, ladies and gentlemen. The perfect score for a game that in the first sentence of your summary says it has issues. Yes, I've got to do a Red Dwarf video one day. I'm going to try and get something going with that and force Ryan to watch it too because he said he couldn't get into it. So, moron. Absolute perfection. Exactly. Never been a better game. I did it yesterday. I went through other games' scores throughout the years. And, you know, you're looking at such names as Ocarina of Time, obviously, Final Fantasy, multiple of them, of course, as well. Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, you know, various games like that. Metal Gear's a contender in there as well. These illustrious names and historic gaming royalty names. And then just Assassin's Creed Shadows. I couldn't even find another Assassin's Creed in that list. I actually need to look it up. Assassin's Creed. I wonder if there's an easy way to just look up the reviews without only getting Shadows. I don't know. But in the meantime, James Up is here. Yeah. For 10 and says, Steam, there are 3,445 reviews. The number has not changed in over an hour. Interesting. Some brigading perhaps going on. Think there is some manipulation going on. Still 81% positive, and I have seen some negative reviews with a recommended mark. Of course, it's our old buddy. It's our old buddy review brigading and cooking the books.
Drop it.
Thank you, Jimbo. Appreciate you for that. And yeah, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. I'm just trying to see here if I can find some reviews of the series. Okay, hang on. Here's an article. Because that's one element of it I haven't looked at yet. And it's from Tech Radar. So, you know, take that with whatever amount of salt you feel is appropriate. By Rob Dwyer. And says, what are the best Assassin's Creed games? We've ranked them all. Oh, God. What is all this crap on my screen? Fucking websites. Assassin's Creed Rogue, the worst. Okay. Followed by Chronicles. Wow, you put Chronicles above Rogue? All right. Nexus VR. Fuck off. Unity. I don't know. Unity was all right. Revelations. Okay, yeah, that is markedly better. Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah. Okay. It's the only one I haven't played properly. Syndicate. I liked Syndicate well enough. I mean, I'm biased. It's in my hometown, so, you know. Assassin's Creed, the original. Fair enough. Doesn't tell us what review scores it got, though. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay. Origins. Mirage. From 2023. Nobody was interested in that. Nobody wanted that. Odyssey, it's okay. I preferred Origins. Brotherhood, Shadows, fuck off. Is Shadows the third best? Black Flag is, and then of course 2. Yeah, all right. So I would shuffle the top 5 around. Some of them are baffling. I don't understand it at all, why they got that particular order. But I mean, it's like, what kind of scores did they give for these games? It's kind of tough to find out. And I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. We do have some Snow White to look at here. Hold on a minute. What should we pick? Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 4. What others were really well liked? I don't know. Let's have a look at the what we've already got. Do we have a review score from IGN for the original Assassin's Creed? Anywhere? Review scores, guys. It's IGN. You're supposed to review these fucking games. No? Okay. So they don't put out reviews for games anymore? Is that where we're at? Fuck's sake. Never mind. So as it stands, it looks like, oh no, wait, there it is. There's right there. We've got Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is widely considered by many people to be vying for pole position alongside Assassin's Creed 2 and the trilogy of Ezio, as the best Assassin's Creed game, and it has an 8.5. Okay. Actually, IGN, they're remaining internally consistent, as I think they only gave Assassin's Creed Shadows an 8. But there are people out there who think it's a 10, 100%, perfection incarnate. And if you believe that, you'll probably believe this is a woman.
For kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
What the fuck is that?
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Okay, so let's move on. Assassin's Creed remains a developing story, and of course we're going to be talking about it probably for a couple of straight weeks at this point. But meanwhile, Snow White is here. Today it comes out, and I'm thinking this is going to be a shit show as well. We're going to be arguing which was the biggest flop of March 25, whether it was Assassin's Creed Shadows or Snow White. And, well, I honestly think it's too soon to tell, because they're both flops, if I'm right. But and it will come down to a photo finish, which one limped over the finish line into total obscurity first. But there we go. Get this shitty fucking video off my screen. And we have the IGN review. So I'm just curious to see what they have to say. Because, you know, it's usually very congratulatory. IGN says 7. What a fucking surprise! Oh, IGN says 7. In other news, the sky's blue, grass is green, and Caliph Adams is a fucking cow. So, what does it say? Snow White is a live-action Disney remake that meaningfully adapts its original rather than creating a lesser mimicry. Yeah, that's actually not lining up with many of the other things that I've seen about this at all. I just need to check something and see if I can get it on the screen. At the moment, Vulture's reporting Snow White and the 7 out of 10 star reviews. Apparently, that's what the average is at the moment. And I guess we can have a look on Rotten Tomatoes, though, because that's not what Rotten Tomatoes was saying yesterday. So let's take a quick look. And in fact, Rotten Tomatoes has... get off my screen with that fucking advert shit. Rotten Tomatoes has gone, and 1 second. No, it's down. It's actually down. It's actually gone down 1%. Where is it? There it is. 46. 46% from 142 reviews. Popcorn meter yet to be confirmed from more than 50 verified ratings. We got half a star, 5 stars, half a star, 1 star, half a star, half a star, 1 star, half a star, half, 5, 1. Yeah, typical fucking shit. Typical, early reviewers, people going in and just bombing and brigading the fuck out of it. That one's interesting. Can't read it, but it's interesting. Doesn't seem very impressive. The movie is complete ass cheeks. Just stick to animated ones. Yeah, okay. Expected to hate this based on critics, but really enjoyed it. Absolutely horrible. Cringeworthy singing. Cringeworthy CGI dwarves. Acting from her seems so forced. It's almost as if she truly believes she is Snow White. Do not recommend this. Doesn't live up to the original. There's someone who's a bit more modest, a bit more moderate. Some decent parts, but 7 and 9-year-old were also bored. Oh dear. Fails to engage children. Okay. So we're seeing a lot of 7 out of 10s apparently. IGN gives it a 7. Interestingly, The Guardian wants to murder it from what I read of the first paragraph, but let's go in because 1 star from the fucking Guardian. From The Guardian. One of the most spoiled leftist rags that exists in this world today, The Guardian. 1 out of 5. God, wow, that bar is getting really good now, guys. Let's game. With tiresome pseudo-progressive additions that tie the whole thing in knots, this is a waste of estimable. That's a word that doesn't come up very good. Entertainers like Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. Are you actually saying, bruv, that Rachel Zegler is entertaining? Because quite honestly, I think the only way you could make Rachel Zegler entertaining at this day and age is to put her in the stocks and give us some actual Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, that title is a description of the page on which new Hollywood ideas get written. Here is a pointless new live-action musical version of the Snow White myth, a kind of unwicked approach to the story and merch-enabling money machine. Where other movies are playfully reimagining the backstories of famous villains, this one plays it straight, but with carefully curated revisionist tweaks. What the fuck's going on? Is The Guardian repenting? Are you repenting, Peter Bradshaw? This guy, I know his name. He's been a reviewer for a long time. So, all right. But knowing that at some basic level, the brand identity has to be kept pristine. Yes, there it is. This is particularly evident in the costume design, with which the Wicked Witch gets a pointy dark crown and hugging black balaclava, and Snow White is lumbered with a supermarket retail tweenie outfit with puffy sleeved shoulders. Damn, man. Fucking savage. Woof. Damn, that That is mean. That is mean. Timu White. Damn. From Timu Shima to Timu White. Those otherwise estimable performers, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, are now forced to go through the motions, and they give the dullest performances of their lives. Right, guys. So one of the through lines of all the other reviews that I've seen so far of Snow White has been that Rachel Zegler sparkles, you know, absolutely dazzling performances from Rachel Zegler. And actually, they don't even mention Gal Gadot. So you can kind of tell where their bread is buttered. But the Guardian of all sources shows up now from the top rope and just lays the smackdown on Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, saying they're both giving the dullest performances of their lives. And you know, Gadot may be an absolute stone cold hottie, but she ain't no actor. Come on, let's be honest here. She is not a very good actress. She isn't. Her best performance I've ever seen was in Wonder Woman, and to be fair, is as Wonder Woman, she's playing a very confused young lady who doesn't understand the world around her. So it's kind of easy to just throw on a bemused face or a slightly amused face, perhaps even a seamused face, and just say the odd line here and there, and then look tough and, you know, deflect bullets, because that's not really acting. That's just modeling, and that's what she knows. But you know, she beautiful for sure. Kal-El, no, indeed. Ryan, I see you in the chat. Hello, mate. Yeah, Kal-El, no. It's a meme. Still would though. Anyway, Zegler, on the other hand, pretty much the opposite. She's fired up. She's a hothead. She's got no class whatsoever. Her acting's over the top, and she's a bonehead. So for them to both be giving the dullest performances of their lives, especially after Zegler was in Shazam 2, I mean, there you go. Traditionally, the heroine's name refers to her skin with lips red as blood and hair as dark as ebony. Now it refers to the snowstorm that accompanied her birth. Well, how else were you going to get Mud Brown and the 7 Discord mods, huh? That's not very nice. I have Discord mods on my Discord in this chat right now. So I'm not, that wasn't a dig at you. That's just the lyric from the chat music video. It's stuck in my head now. Zegler's, let's call them carnies. Zegler's Snow White had loving parents in the King and Queen, but after her mother's death, her father becomes infatuated with a witchy new noblewoman at court. Gadot's lips are at all times seductively and contemptuously pursed, but later the king simply vanishes from the story, and the script ties itself into a few pretzels explaining what is supposed to have happened to him and when. The stepmom witch keeps Snow White in Cinderella-style serfdom below stairs, where the poor child Wanley, that I sympathizes with the population's poverty. Oh, fuck off. You're under the stairs like Harry fucking Potter, and you're thinking about the people. As Snow White grows up, the magic mirror breaks the bad news about a change in the prettiness ranking. Yeah, an unbelievable change. Nice to see support in the chat. So B-Man's not here, says Ryan. Yeah, I think so. Snow White is then forced to flee in the forest and stay there once the huntsman has lied to the witch about killing her, and then she meets her 7 new best friends. There are some changes. You can say that again, buddy. You can say that again.
Somebody picks up that phone.
Do what?
Because I f***ing called it!
Oh yeah, the hero is no longer a prince, but a more democratic citizen who leads a Robin Hood type insurgency from the forest against the witch's tyranny, with Snow White joining in on a Maid Marian basis. Oh, for fuck's sake! But he still gets to do the controversial non-consent kiss once our heroine has got into a picturesque coma. But the dwarves, will this film make them look sort of like everyone else, much like Munchkins and Wicked? No, this Snow White feebly makes them motion capture animated figures, but it also heart-sinkingly duplicates their presence by giving the prince his own gang of 7 live-action bandits. Oh, is that what those are? Ah, do you think they just did that so that they could make sure, just to make sure that we don't get to say that was the original dwarves? In which people with dwarfism are represented. So there is one dwarf in the movie. 1. Oh, well, I guess 1 out of 7 ain't bad. Oh, wait, no, it is. It's fucking atrocious. This fudged pseudo-progressive approach is so tiring you'll want to put your head in your hands. Congratulations, you have managed to appeal to nobody. You've even managed to annoy the left. You absolute...
You smug cunt.
So there you go. The basic story is strange. Yada, 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 yada. This feels like a very hard day's work in the IP diamond mine. Oof. Eris Rhoda, the dwarf count came up a little short. Oh, scathing. Okay, then it's just asking you to pay them. That's fair enough. They can ask for that if they want. They have a business to run, even though they are leftists. Okay, well, there we go. That's it. Now I have one more thing. No, 2 more things. And we'll get into the last half hour or so, which will be a video. Snow White bombs on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics rip apart Disney's latest remake starring Rachel Zegler despite early hype. In Snow White, Shill Brigade isn't going to like this. Disney's Rachel Zegler-led Snow White remake splatted onto Rotten Tomatoes today, and the results were far less flattering than the glowing social media reviews of just a few days ago. The embargo is lifted, and the truth is finally out. Disney's live-action Snow White has officially earned a rotten rating on Rotten Tomatoes, clocking in at a dismal 49%, now 46%. It's a brutal wake-up call, especially when contrasted with the studio's carefully controlled early social media reactions and bizarrely labeled the film a triumphant return to form for Disney and called Rachel Zegler a supernova. A supernova, guys.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
A super fucking nova. Are you joking, bruv? Are you joking? A supernova. I mean, no. She's more like a freaking... a supernova. A singularity. It's going to implode. It's collapsing under the weight of her fucking hubris. So there you go. The sharp drop in critical reception highlights exactly why Disney delayed lifting the review embargo until just 24 hours before release. Never a good sign. That one you can set your watch by. If the review embargo is still going until the day before, there's no confidence. And that's without even mentioning the fact that they wouldn't let the vast majority of the press actually have any interaction with Rachel Zegler at all ahead of this release. And I do wonder if they're just that petty that they might have given this a little bit of a lower score in places because of the lack of any access to the media. And that is true. Camilla's right in the chat. What is a supernova? It's the end of a sun. It's the end of a star. After that, whole solar systems are wiped out, leaving nothing behind. So you could accurately compare her to a supernova, I guess. Because I don't think she'll ever work again. But there you go. All right, guys. I wanted to chill out a little bit and enjoy a review that I haven't seen yet at all. Not even 1 second of it. From a source that I trust. So, with that said, and do consider helping me reach that final little notch on the bar, if you don't mind, as we head over to Film Threat. Because, of course, these guys do know what they're actually talking about. All right, let's have a watch.
All right, Alan, it's time. It's time to talk about Snow White. We will be non-spoiler today, although we'll get into probably...
Why? What spoilers? I mean, not for nothing, but we all know the story, right? We all know that how it works out. Unless there's a twist at the end where instead of kissing her and waking her up, which we just found out from the Guardian review, instead he just whips out a knife and just plunges it into her throat or something while she's asleep. Just, finish the job or whatever. There's not much you can spoil. Non-spoiler. Wow, you actually got me to laugh like my mother there. Anyway, it is, of course, yeah, exactly. The story is the film is over 90 years old. Or almost 90 years old. The story is older than that. It's completely ludicrous. But I suppose there may be some differences. At least Gore is a serious professional when it comes to actually reviewing things. So if he wants to say it's non-spoiler, then up to him.
Light spoilers. If any of you care, you've been
And then there's that.
warned. There will be light spoilers in this.
I gotta get that chair.
Alan, let's talk about Snow White.
I'll up the speed just a little bit.
If you would go over the story somewhat, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't know Snow White, it's the story of a young girl who's born.
By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys have all spent a lot of time watching Film Threat, but you definitely want to check out the Trial of Disney Star Wars, because that was a fucking hilarious series of videos.
Circumstances. Her parents were in a carriage in the middle of a snowstorm, and she was born and survived, and that's how she became.
Justin Davis for $10 on behalf of Pilika. Come back to Suikoden, Will. All right. Over the weekend, I'll do some Suikoden. I've got to do more Assassin's Creed today, but I will do some Suikoden over the weekend for you, Justin. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated, and also fills the bar. So, guys, I hope you're putting your dance shoes on, because it's time.
Money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, more money, 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 heaps and heaps of money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, super chat money.
As salty as the sea, calling us code names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
And that's gold. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. It's been a great stream so far. Let's enjoy the last half hour of it. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate everybody.
Snow White.
Because there was snow.
There was snow. Okay. And
She
and
was
about 5
born in the snow, so we called her Snow White. But she's not white. But she was born in the snow. Okay.
fits into the movie. Her mother dies, and the king is there, and he succumbs to the beauty of this strange woman, who then marries.
Not in Colombia, but it does snow in Poland. You can see which side she's mostly dominated by.
Marries him, and now she becomes the evil queen after sending her husband, Snow White's father, off to death. Now Snow White is
off to war that he may or may not have survived.
Okay.
Wait, what? Okay.
And so she is now.
Is this like a holy crusade? Why is he going to war? Okay.
Locked up in the castle, seeing how economically oppressed all the villagers are. She shows compassion. She shows mercy. And by doing that, the magic mirror tells the evil queen that Snow White is the fairest of them all. And now the evil.
Sorry, Spaghetti, you got me there, man. Ryan, you got to look at that comment. It's right up your alley.
Queen is on a vendetta to kill Snow White. But there are dwarves and bandits who are there to help her survive and win in the end. And there's music and dancing and creepy CGI.
There's music and dancing and creepy CGI. Oh my.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is sounding really gay.
And lots of cute animals.
It does follow the bullet.
When you've got this is another thing. I have never brought it up, but if none of the other stuff had happened, it would still be my baseline reaction, because it's always been my baseline reaction to Disney live action remakes. Why are you doing a live action remake if you are going to make the animals behave the exact same way and look cartoonish in their behavior? And then, of course, later we've seen the same thing with the dwarves. But that's it. When you see that and you're like, oh, wow, they're doing a live action remake where the animals are still animated. to look like they have facial expressions like human beings. That doesn't really make sense. A good director would manage to tell that tale without having to animate wild animals. A good director would be able to imply all of that love the animals have for Snow White in a subtle and more realistic way. But hey, there you go.
Bullet points of the original fairy tale. It actually does. For the most part, it hits those beats.
You have semi-domesticated deer you can feed by hand and wild chickens. Are you Snow White? I'm thinking no, but thanks for playing.
But adds a whole lot of extra to get to a 1 hour and 49-minute running time.
Exactly.
So I'll
nearly 2 hours? Really? God damn.
I'll say this. The new musical numbers are not great. I can't even look.
Man, when my niece comes to live with us later this year, I am canceling Disney Plus. I had to use it for Doctor Who, but I'm making sure that thing goes down the drain.
I can in my mind, I can pull up Whistle While You Work. Simple, it's a great tune, very simple, it's memorable. None of the new songs are memorable. Having said that,
this is what I'm saying as well, right? I've heard that Waiting on a Wish bollocks that they've got parading around. Even the Philippines has been swept up in that, releasing their own freaking Tagalog version of it. And I'm like in the comments going, don't waste your pesos. Don't waste your pesos. And men, do not take your wives to see this crap. Yeah, you're surprised I haven't already canceled it. Yeah, I realized about 2 weeks ago that I still had it. So there you go, from Christmas. So whoops, my bad, I guess. If it's any consolation, my subscription stops thousands of others from subscribing, and it only costs about $4 or something a month for that. So there you go.
Rachel Zegler is great as a singer. He is very good.
She's been auto-tuned. And actually, that brings me back to my point. Not that I like to lean on it too much, but I am a classically trained musician. Okay, I've even written like an opera kind of thing. I know music; it's in my blood. The songs that they are pumping out in these modern Disney remakes, and I'm not just talking about the squawky one from The Little Mermaid. I'm talking about all the new songs. They are generic trash. They are just baseline dull sludge slop. They don't actually have any character whatsoever, like none. So just wanted to go out there and say that. I thought Zegler was singing really well, but when I actually sat and listened to the song, just so that I would be informed, because I'd heard a couple of people say auto-tune. Yeah, there are a couple of instances where the discerning ear can pick out the subtle trace of auto-tune. You're correct. I'm a classically trained pianist. You think that joke hasn't followed me my entire life? You might as well make fun of my ears.
But I mean, I have to give her credit. You cannot deny, Alan. He is a very good singer.
She is a very good singer. I will agree with you.
And you like musicals, so you are a good judge.
I thought she was brilliant in West Side Story.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, she gets some credit there. But that can't save the rearrangements of the classic songs, which are just plain bad. They even changed the lyrics to Whistle While You Work.
No. What the fuck? Why? What lyric?
And Hi-Ho. They added lyrics to Hi-Ho.
And Hi-Ho.
Oh, no. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Hi-Ho and Whistle While You Work aren't the same song. No, they're not, are they? Speaking of which, Rachel Zegler. You never know. She might be watching. Or Alyssa. In which case, I'd just like to say, hi-ho.
You know, it's so
lame.
So let's get the good, the bad, and the ugly for this. I mean, I already got the good out of the way, which is Rachel Zegler can sing, and she is not awful in the movie. But I'll say this, I have a theory as to why. This movie went through reshoots and it was recut.
Yeah.
And they did something. They did something with Rachel.
Is there ADR That would be
Rachel Zegler. What did they do? They reduced her screen time.
Well, yeah, we all knew that. I mean, that was announced 1.5 years ago. Auto-tune is when they use a computer to make sure that the voice never misses the exact mid-range of a note while you're singing. But in actual practice, it ends up destroying a lot of the quality of human singing, because almost nobody sings exactly like a bell ringing. There's always going to be a little bit of quality to someone's voice that's maybe a touch flat or a little bit sharp here or there. And when you add auto-tune, it becomes too obvious. It becomes kind of hyper real. And so you can kind of hear it. And it also sounds very vaguely digitized. You have to listen to like the mix down. And it's like how, for example, another tactic they use is pop music. If you suddenly find that you're like tapping your foot to some Dua Lipa crap or Ariana Grande bullshit or whatever, it's because you've heard it, first of all, everywhere you go. So it's on in the malls, it's on any public place that you might find yourself. There'll be something of it playing somewhere. And the other thing is they add extra additional layers of bass and other instruments in there that pump through the sound in a way that you can't even consciously really detect, to drive you into not, I don't know, I don't want it to sound too sinister. It influences you to like it the more you hear it. It sort of hits you in a way that the mind responds to, but the consciousness doesn't. So subliminal, I suppose, is the word, but I didn't want to have to say it. So there's lots of ways that they use tricks and stuff like that to get you to like songs that you otherwise would be going, this is fucking garbage. That's why so very often you'll hear a song for the first time and go, wow, that's crap. But by the 7th time you've heard it, you're like, yeah, it's not bad, actually. It's grown on me. Now, it hasn't grown on you. You've been indoctrinated. Justin Davis for another 2. Man, you didn't have to do that. Whistle while you jerk to a hi-ho. How did you know how I spend my weekends? Anyway, there you go. That's my understanding of it. Anyway, yeah, Shares Believe is one of the most obvious examples of auto-tune, because it's on the nose. It's literally what they present out as a technique they're using, whereas now they find ways to hide that in songs. Anyway, here you go.
How did they do that? They added a whole preamble with Snow White as a young girl and what she went through with her family. They included other storylines, including the bandits, the huntsman, the evil queen herself. So what you saw is the screen time of Rachel Zegler as Snow White was reduced in the movie, making her seem less annoying. I'll make a comment. Well, this will make sense. Star Wars Episode 1. Okay, whatever you think about that movie, I actually don't think Jar Jar Binks is that bad.
You know what? Me neither. I was 13 when it came out, and I thought it was kind of cringe, but over the years, I've kind of warmed to Jar Jar in much the same way as you might get used to an annoying song. If you hear it enough, it starts to become nostalgic, you know?
Here's the problem with Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars Episode 1. He was comic relief.
Yeah.
The problem is
he has no plot.
He gets annoying after a while.
And then he suddenly becomes a major part of the plot.
But no more or less annoying than C-3PO, a gay butler.
There's that. You're right. You're not wrong. The bar is much lower now. And yeah, C-3PO annoyed me when I was a kid. I guess I was a hyperactive kid, although I refuse to acknowledge ADHD. But yeah, the first, like, until Luke Skywalker shows up in Star Wars and after the droids have jettisoned from the Tantive 4, I used to get so bored watching them, and just like C-3PO used to drive me so crazy. I'd be like, will you shut up and just get to the part where Luke shows up, you know? And now, of course, I get older, you appreciate the cinema of it. But back then, yeah, it used to drive me a bit nuts. And Darth Binks is a great theory.
And I think you could have saved Jar Jar Binks if you just cut his screen time in half or less. If he has less screen time, he's just not as present and not as annoying.
This is what
But
they did with Zegler, of course. We saw it a year ago. They announced that they were casting a little girl version of Snow White so that you would infer the niceness of the little girl version onto the adult version who's a sullen bitch.
Over that movie to the point where if you look at the structure of episode 1, The Phantom Menace, he is the one that follows the hero's journey.
Some
the
of you guys are
hero's
getting those red
journey
and blue badges now.
is followed by Jar Jar. What he needed to do, George.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Anakin too. It's not followed by Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan. Not at all. But yeah, actually, yeah. The real hero's journey is Jar Jar Binks going from clumsy oaf that's not trusted by his own people to their savior. And he has to do it by engaging in a battle, which is far from any comfort zone of his. In fact, even Anakin doesn't really experience any hardship in that first movie, except leaving his mother behind, which is, yeah, that could be considered hero's journey, but not the complete hero's journey. And we all obviously know where that story goes. But yeah, Jar Jar is the closest thing to the hero's journey in that whole fucking thing. Wow. Never thought of it that way. This is why I like Chris Gore, by the way.
Lucas is cut the screen time of Jar Jar down. You would actually like him as a character. That's what they did very wisely for Rachel Zegler. They cut her screen time down.
It is a bit obvious though, isn't it? Like, yes, we understand you hate this woman, so we'll put less of her in the film. Well, spank my ass and call me grandma. There's a novel idea.
That helped. And I also think that contributed to many of the reviews that say, hey, the movie is actually good. It's not great. It's good. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, because we've had 2 years of awful press. And now
that's interesting. He's saying it's actually watchable. But he's much kinder than I usually am. I would probably still hate it.
We get to the movie and it's like, that's not bad, which I can.
Come on. That's not the same as good, Gore. That's not the same as good. They're not bad. What's the last movie I saw that I thought, that wasn't bad? Maybe like Sniper 5 or something like that. I think was a pretty good movie. It's okay. It was all right. Saw the twist coming.
See, that is a fair. I had a friend text me. He said the same thing. It's okay. It's okay. It's not as bad as you thought it would be.
Yeah, I totally mixed metaphors with that spank my ass thing.
So I don't know what you think about what I just said. I have some more comments as well. We'll get to the dwarves. Save the dwarves.
Okay, I'll save the dwarves. But when you say it's not as bad as it could have been, that's true. But it's still a bad movie. I mean, if you take away all the controversy, the story is awful. I joke a lot about the fact that this movie,
we're not going to have time for me to get to his rating. What's his rating?
Had that the original didn't have was exposition. There's just too much explaining going on. The other thing is
they have to explain things these days because they've created a generation of absolute retards.
The storytelling. There's
3 out of 10 or 3 out of 5.
There's not emotion, there's not heart in it. And I'll give you the biggest example. And this happens in the first 5 minutes. Snow White, as a little girl, she's with her father, the king, her mother, the queen. They're very happy. And then all of a sudden the narrator says, and then the mother dies.
Yeah,
and then in the well reflection, she disappears.
3 out of 10. Ooh. Yeah, Mudcrab's right. Why is it's not as bad as I feared the new good? Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Not for me. Go watch Godfather. Go watch Lord of the Rings. Then come back and tell me this film is good.
Now, the thing is that, look, you feel bad because I told you the mother died, as opposed to all the other Disney movies. You either see or you feel the emotional impact of a parent dying. Frozen is probably the greatest example of that. The parents go off in a ship, they die, and you get that sense, that feeling of, you know how they feel. But here it's literally a line and she goes away.
Yeah. I made the same complaint about Assassin's Creed Shadows. You get that scene where the father gets killed, where now his father gets murdered. Completely and totally devoid of any emotional resonance, thanks to being completely undermined by bad animation, shitty voice acting, awful direction, and a soundtrack from a Tarantino movie.
The acting, to me, this movie is just too on the nose in the sense of,
right.
You know,
I can see that.
The whole point.
That's all Disney does these days.
Of Snow White is she is destined to become the queen, the leader her father wants her to be.
That is the most fucking nauseating line of all of it. I even more than weird or very evidently so, or any of the other garbage that Rachel Zegler has said, when she says she's not dreaming about true love, she's dreaming about the leader she knows she can be. You girl boss too close to the sun, Zegler.
That waiting on a wish, it's all about her wishing to be the daughter her father wants her to be.
Right.
Oh, so she's still defined by a man then?
You know, I mean, really, is that what kids are into? Is that what kids connect with and resonate with?
It's not what little girls resonate with at all. Little girls ain't changed. They still want a prince. They still want dollies. They do. They still want to grow up and be mummy to somebody. That's little girls. That's the default setting. To turn them into Rachel Zegler, you have to interfere with their natural cerebral development. You do.
You know, then she goes off everywhere she goes in this movie. She sees you and she hears you and gives you, and it happens so often.
Everybody wants love. You're right. At the end of the day, little boys grow up appreciating things like duty, honor, heroism, protecting the weak. Characters like Superman, for fuck's sake, and Batman. Not because we want to be them, but because we want to be like them. We want to be like, wow, I wish I could protect everybody I loved like he does. That's the goal. It's in your DNA. You can't change it any more than you can change being born with a penis or without a penis. Little girls, on the other hand, are like thinking, oh, I can't wait to have my own baby one day and marry a nice man and have a lovely, happily ever after kind of life, which of course is a fairy tale and marriage takes work and stuff like that. But that's the childhood interpretation of it for boys and girls. And doesn't that just sound so nice and wholesome to talk about when we have to actually like face what is being done to children, what they're teaching children now? You're just messing them up. Exactly. It's biology. It's entirely biology. Yes.
And that by halfway through the movie, every time she sees someone or hears someone, your eyes roll into the back of your head. And and I think that's why you and Dante had headaches afterwards.
Yes, I literally got a headache
from looking into the back of your own head. Yeah, that'll give you a headache.
Watching this movie.
Yeah. Now let me talk about the music. The music is great. It's exceptional.
That's totally fine too. Why do you love firearms? Because there's only two reasons I can think of. And one of them is to protect other people or to provide safety and stability for somebody, even if it's just for yourself.
The lyrics are awful. The lyrics say nothing.
Hell, for that matter, is why I think weapons are cool too.
The biggest example is the opening number called Good Things Grow. This is the
fuck my life. So what happens to bad films? They don't grow, they die, they rot.
Song that introduces you to the land, the country that Snow White and her family rules over. And
I am going to buy a gun one of these days when I get the chance. You're a mechanic and they're mechanically different. Oh yeah, that as a hobby, yeah, absolutely. I can totally see that too. Yeah, I love playing around with gadgets and tinkering and stuff.
And what happens is the song is about how in this town and in this country, good things grow. You know, like when they grow vegetables for the gardens.
I was thinking of dirtier lyrics for that song.
It's good. And then when they bake things, it's good. Everyone has plenty of stuff. This is a far cry from
Guns Are Good, guys. No
Beauty and
doubt.
the Beast. That opening number when you see it play out.
You know, it's really interesting that just as an aside, as we begin to wind up towards the end, I certainly recommend you watch this video from Film Threat at your leisure, or leisure rather. I'm British. And speaking of being British, I didn't get to grow up in a country where everybody had access to guns. I was already like, they were already doing away with that by the time I was a child. So guns to me were just things that countries like America had that we didn't have. And now I live in a place where it's theoretically possible for me to legally obtain a firearm. I'm thinking, you know what? And I have gone to like the range and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I want a fucking gun. There's no reason for me not to have a gun to protect myself and my family. First and foremost, my family. You know, that it's so bizarre to me because guns are so not available in the UK. And yet I'd still see people who had them from time to time. Basically, unless you're a criminal or the Metropolitan Police, no one has a gun. And now I'm thinking, you know, no, that's stupid. Everyone should have a gun. Everyone should be armed. That's why it's around about the time I came to that realization that I started to realize that the American experiment was a really good idea. Because another thing that is uniquely British when you're growing up is looking down at America. And the older I get, the more I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Look at our dickhole of a country compared to theirs. At least they can sort their political messes out, because there is still the threat of an armed populace who can rebel if the government ever tries to go too far. You need that. That is part of the concept of the American Republic. And it is a key component of it. It's why it's the Second Amendment. So good job, America. Well done. Anyway, that'll do. I would like to watch more of this, and I will. And I recommend that you do as well. But for now, we are getting pretty close to the end. I know some of you guys will be hopping over to Hypno. That's fine. I'm probably going to go catch another couple hours sleep and start working on some new overlay or something for when I have to stream again later with Assassin's Creed Shadows, so that it doesn't have the frame rate issues associated with having to use StreamYard. So I may be doing a fair amount of experimenting throughout the day. If you do come across me doing like a 5-minute live stream or something, I'll try to keep them private, but just ignore it until I tell you there's something worth watching. Thank you very much for checking out episode, wow, what are we on now? God, 38 of HyperDrive time. The show's going really well. I really enjoy it. I've got into the stride of it now. You guys, great. I love that you help me to fill this bar up almost every day now. We are, I think, 3 in a row or something at this point. So that's great. Eris Rhoda, gift him 1 Grift Force membership straight out. Thank you, buddy. And to all of you who stopped by and checked it out, thank you. I'll be back again tomorrow, although I don't expect a lot of people on Friday evenings because of FNT. But if you do feel like stopping by, you'll be greatly appreciated. I'll leave you with the credits for now, and I'll catch you in a few hours' time, probably in around 12-ish hours' time, maybe a little earlier than that, actually, for a gaming stream, as we'll be playing AC Shadows once again, and then over the weekend, some Suikoden. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.